Hello, hello, everyone. Hi, Carix. I hope you're having a better day today. Sorry that yesterday was rough. Yesterday was fucking weird for me, too. I don't know. Things have been weird. It's relatable. Hydrate. Today, I'm a hoe, and I have a Starbucks cherry... not Starbucks. Dunkin' Donuts Daydream Black Cherry Refresher. Oh my god, it's so good. The only thing that's getting me through the American hellscape is being a quote a true American girly and just drinking as much fucking Dunkin' Donuts as possible. That makes sense. It makes sense. But like I like how the flavor of the season is cherry. Fanta just released like a new Diablo exclusive cherry soda as well, so that seems to be the vibe. Head out of my head. Anxiety is not fun. 1,000%. Carrick's mood. No, it's so fucking bad over here. Like, poor Jace, like, woke up, like, a couple days ago, like, literally yesterday, just crying. Like, his brain was just, like, processing a bunch of shit at night. You know, he had, like, negative, a bunch of bad dreams, right? So, our brains can't fucking keep up, but it's a mood. Like, anxiety is literally the worst, so I feel you. And I hope you, like, get a little bit of relief soon. If you need any tips on, like, physical management of anxiety, let me know. I've been doing therapy for fucking anxiety since 2016. So a decade. I got a lot of tools in my toolbox if you ever need any help. While I myself am not a licensed therapist, boy howdy have I done the therapy. Oh my god. 80 streams straight. Sweet god. Lear. You're too powerful. I'm scared. It will be a cold day in hell when you miss a stream, I'm afraid. Hi Chips, how you doing? Maybe it's time to start working on the Nathan book again. I realize I can't work on it because it also is about fucking severe anxiety. Hee hee. Also over on YouTube. Cherry. Think about Phil. I think it's Phil Lamar specifically. Every time I see the word cherry from Jack and Daxter, he's like, "Don't worry, cherries. We're rolling with the Peacemaker." I'm like, "Why cherries? Like, why did Phil Lamar make that decision?" You know, I'm like, what was going on in the studio for him to be like, "I'm just gonna call everybody cherries"? It's like, I don't know, Phil. I liked it though. It gives Sig a lot of personality, I think. Why are you? Hello? Hold on. Something just happened here. Current layer. Thanks. Or actually, all layers? This is weird. Hello? Hello? Why are you... What in the hell? Hold on. Why? Yeah, all layers point sample. That should not be doing this. Yeah, what is it? Select. And it's not. Wow, it ain't that. Oh, that is so fucking weird. What did I do? Huh. What are you telling me? Why on this specific layer? Yeah, it's on the same settings over on the other thing. What does it mean? Because current layer... Why is it doing that with the background? Hold on, hold on. This is crazy. Hold on. There, I must have hit... Okay, hold on. I must have hit a hotkey on accident. Crazy! Good, just vibing while I get something to eat. Almost got my afternoon liter of water finished up. You are seriously the most hydrated and healthy human I know. Okay, what are you telling me? Tell me your secret. Huh? What? Okay, what are you telling me? Okay. Uh-huh. What? Oh. Okay, you good? Are you okay? But why? What do you mean? What the fuck is going on? But why is it changing the background color? What the fuck is going on? This is crazy. But I did not. Yeah, this should be select. Why? The foreground color is selected, you demons. Oh, wait. Okay, are you good? Holy shit, I accidentally, well, what, and why is it selecting black? What the fuck is happening right now? This is insane. This is the crazy shit that's ever fucking happened to me. Just the sample size options in the bar while the eyedropper, yeah, but except it's not showing up. It ain't showing up. It ain't showing up. Let's see. Hold on now. Okay, but it's also selecting black for whatever reason. Okay, hold on. But, like, why would it do this? Point sample's fine, and all layers is fine. And this is selected. What the fuck? I was definitely not hydrated before. Oh, yeah, mood, though. I'm so crispy, we don't talk about it. But there is no reason that this should be doing this. Because this selects just fine, that selects fine, and then all of a sudden that doesn't select correctly. So what in the hell is happening here? Because I know that all of this is all on the same layer. So it has to do with something having the incorrect layer selected. Or all layers is causing the problem. So how do I change these settings? Interesting. I guess I could do, let me see, reset tool. Okay, so that works now. There we go. Oh, but it's still the background. Hold on. This is fucking bananas. Was there a recent update that did this? Because this is... I do have the foreground selected. Okay, are we good? Are we good now? I think we're good. I think I fixed it. Holy shit, I hate Photoshop so much. By God. Not me trying to fucking select a color for 8 minutes like I've never used Photoshop before in my life. What in the hell? Alright, we're alright. I just want to fucking live. We're okay. We're alright. Yeah, for whatever reason, it literally just, yeah, freaked out. I might have accidentally hit a hotkey, but the chances of that, like, that happening are not very likely. So I couldn't tell you what just happened just now. No idea. Yeah, really weird. I feel like if you accidentally hit a certain number of keystrokes in a specific way, sometimes Photoshop will just, like, there are keystrokes that you didn't even know did anything, and so suddenly you're in a, like, if you have a fat finger issue, like probably what just happened just then, it'll randomly just, cause a bunch of issues. You know, it's like, what, why? Why? Trying to think if I have any announcements. No crazy announcements. I do have, I want to, like, post a reminder for everybody if you guys want to share it around. I'm getting very close to hitting 50 on this, and I get extra bonuses if I do that, and the people in my Backer Kit Collective will stop hounding me. You by no means are obligated to pledge if you do the, lovely little thingy here. But we're at 43 out of 50. So if you want to share this around to people who might be interested, that's a thing. I also did post a new YouTube video actually just before stream about how my tarot magic system works. So if you want to check that out as well, I also go into the history of tarot cards and how it used to be a 15th century Italian card game. And it was not originally used for divination or fortune telling. And it's got a fascinating history, so if you want to check that out, I also talk a little bit about how it relates to the magic system in my book. So it can be, it's pretty cool, but I would very much appreciate the help over on BackerKit. Even if you don't end up backing, that's totally fine. It gets the BackerKit collective people off of my booty about it. So feel free to check that out. I did also want to remind everybody that I do have a free book available right now on Booksprout. And it is my Brady Von Altus and the Pesky Pest Controller book. So if you're interested in that, I still have 24 more slots. Getting middle grade readers over on Booksprout is really, really hard. You can see how this one, as a young adult, got way more impressions. It's like fucking 137 and 398 versus this one, 15 views, 76 impressions. It's just because it's middle grade. The point being, if you want this book for free, you can totally get it. I only need 4 more reviews on that one to get it to 25, and that'll be my first book ever on Amazon that has 25 reviews. So I'd be forever grateful if you want to do that. That would be also very cool. Those are my major announcements for today. I'm also going to be probably opening up the backer kit early for like 2 weeks before the campaign launches, because I learned that you can do that with backer kit. You can open it up early before the backer kit even launches, so you can get it funded before the thing fucking launches. Crazy. So we're going to be doing that. My goal is to try and get it as funded as humanly possible. Not necessarily like all the way fully funded, but as funded as possible, so that I can try and get this thing funded in like 24 hours. Crazy. Oh god, no, pizza lover. Too much spicy food and coffee. Oh my god. The force of the sun is rocketing through you. I'm so sorry that happened. No. Hi, Gabriel. Thank you so much for that streak. I love that lucky 7. Welcome in. How you doing today? Whoops. That would be great if I could do a straight line. I need to go thick to thin here. Would really like to go back to my navigator. Thank you. Oh my god. Oh no! Jittery and not... No, that's so cursed! I'm so sorry that happened to you. And it sucks because normally, like, the food is worth it. You know, you're like, this is delicious, but now I feel like I'm gonna die. I laugh because it's happened to me, not because I think it's funny. It truly is a combo from hell, Carrix. You're right, though. You're right. Lear's a good one. Lear has amazing streams if anybody wants to go. And I'm actually going to give them a shout out. Lear also designed my PNG tuber as well. When in doubt, slap repost. True. You're just like, whack, 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 whack. I mean, sometimes it must be done. Lava! Guys, it's Lava. Welcome in. Lava also worked on my secret shrimp. Everybody should go follow Lava, too. No, not reminding me of not eating enough fiber. True. I actually also, that is my weakness. That's my fucking weakness, is not enough fiber. Truly. Look, Chips, you gotta do what you gotta do. Shrimp heaven! Yeah! Shrimp heaven. I'm here for it. I love it. I have so many cool friends. Truly, truly the best. But yeah, since a bunch of people just popped back in, sorry if I'm repeating myself. I want to just throw these announcements out there. I'm trying to hit 50 followers on my backer kit campaign. It doesn't cost anything to follow, just to get as many eyes on things as humanly possible. If you like young adult books about tarot cards, dismantling toxic political systems, and effectively I've imagined a Disney World from hell is what I like to call it. You have a city-state controlled completely by 1960s racist oligarchs that trap everybody inside. So think Hunger Games meets tarot cards. If that's something that's interesting to you, you can go ahead and follow this by... You'll have like a little sign-up button here that says, you know, sign up to follow. I would massively appreciate the help. And also, too, if you want to read a little tiny book that is completely free, I'm giving away copies of Brady Von Altus and the Pesky Pest Controller right now. It's an under 50K middle grade fantasy, so that would be good for people who like Coraline, Addams Family, Series of Unfortunate Events. It's also an award-winning book as well, if you want to check it out. So I just dropped both of those links in there. I promise I will not do that again. Crazy. Oh, nice. I've gotten better with fiber, but it's water I need to get better with. I'm of the opinion now that if I die, because I turn into the mummy, that's what's going to happen to me. I'm excited to move to Vancouver where it's not nearly as dry. I currently have the I live in a desert and it's Colorado issue. That is my problem. Oh, whoops. Why would I do this? I'm not even working on this. What is fucking happening to me right now? I'm fine. Nice. I love Toads from Mario though. Actually, Toad, like specifically the Mario Toad, like the one that everybody knows, the main character Toad, resonates with me so deeply, and his scream is how I feel. People are like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing? And then I'm like, Toad scream. Like, I do tarot readings, yes. Yeah, my entire book series, I actually just dropped a YouTube video, a brand new YouTube video about the history of tarot and how I used tarot to write the book series that is going to be on BackerKit. I function entirely off of RNG and off of no take backsies, so I definitely ended up killing characters with the tarot cards, which was super fun. Ayo, we do got a single reading though. I want Toad to take off his mushroom hat. He's naked underneath. Terrifying. Chicken of the Woods is so cool, though. I have never eaten that mushroom, and I would love to be able to, like... I don't know. I want to put it in my mouth. You know what I'm saying? I had a hedgehog mushroom for the first time the other day. Oh, peeled toad. Oh, God. Oh, no. All right. Let's see what we got for you, Chips. Seven of Wands reversed. So this has to do with, like, probably artistic pursuits or something to do with, like, maybe even, like, identity to some degree. But you may be in a situation where you feel like you're trying to be polite. Somebody has said something potentially that is kind of offensive or really just rubs you the wrong way. And you're trying to be polite and you feel like you're having to, like, walk on eggshells or on glass. And that ain't fun. But remember, while everybody around you effectively is acting like a cat that's had water dumped on them, your best course of action here is to just say what you feel and move on. And if they can't handle it, leave them alone. Let them be upset in the corner. And then you can just go do you. But it's going to be very difficult to make them calm down. So it's probably for the best that you just kind of, like, leave them the fuck alone, if that makes sense. So, pissed off cat. That's what I call this this card specifically. All right, let's do one for lava too. I love these cards so much. These cards have been with me for a really long time. All right. Interesting. How'd you realize you were trans? I have always known that I was trans. I'll get into that in just a second. Let me actually, because it's a long story, let me finish this reading really quick. So, we got a lot of reversed cards. Lava. For your past card, we have Queen of Pentacles reversed. This could have had to do with somebody that you knew or know. This person is likely an older female-presenting person, not necessarily a woman in particular, but somebody who has, like, feminine or old lady qualities. It could also be you. So really just kind of depends. But you had to navigate the situation either with this person or something about this person or this aspect of yourself with a lot of perseverance. You stayed focused. You didn't let anybody else really scatter your energy anywhere or sway you off course. So now, because you kind of had to sit through this steadfast period of effectively having just the emotional shit rocked, and you are now arguably exhausted. The second card that I drew is Six of Cups reversed. So you've been doing a lot of, like, recently maybe feeling like other people have been demanding things from you that are really unreasonable. and you've been trying to be constructive when solving these problems, but it's really hard to not be pushy. So, that being said, because you just went through a very intense period where you were using a lot of your resources, now you're emotionally exhausted and everybody's asking a bunch of shit from you, what is potentially coming is, again, another reversed card, so that's going to be 10 of Pentacles reversed. So the situation is almost over. However, you've been really busy helping other people, and it's caused you to kind of have to deviate from your own personal goals. So the best course of action going forward is taking a break, taking a step back, let others handle their problems, and really focus on your goals. Keep that foremost in your mind. And don't be afraid to lean on your friends. If friends can help you out through this, that's great. Try and stay as far away from anything like weirdly like businessy or legal, and just kind of let it play out. But it will probably be done soon, give or take. But it could get kind of messy though. Ultimately, you're probably just exhausted, and like just letting other people again fizzle out and do their own shit at a distance will help. All right, let me get Pizza Lover their card as well. Doot, 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 doot. In other words, it seems like the overarching theme and trend for today is people are fucking stressful for no reason. Everybody's freaking out. I feel like that's been the vibe. Oh no, Lava, I'm sorry, the papers, they know, the paper knows. All right. Pizza Lover, you got 3 of Swords upright, which has to probably do with your own ego. So it's your sense of self. I like to call this one the Trim the Weed card. So that being said, there may be a situation right now where you are feeling a lot of regrets. And you feel like your mind, maybe your emotional scape, your psyche has been overgrown with a lot of like weeds, so to speak. And you're trying to trim all of that off and get it out of your life. But that may come with like a lot of regret. Something happened recently and you're just really like, I don't know. And I don't want to say ruminating, but there's a lot of stuff going on in your brain where you're trying to sort through what happened. So be sure to keep your chin up. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. You are kind of early on in this situation, so it may take a little bit for it to be resolved. But try your best to not let anxiety cloud your clear thinking. If you have to sit back and make decisions slowly, that might be for the best, simply because emotions are really high and your ego, your own sense of self feels very hurt, and that can make it difficult to make decisions. So there you go. I'll go into my trans story time after the ads. We're about to go into ad town hell. But I can do my fucking story time. Story time. But hopefully that was helpful to people. And then I'm going to talk about how I use tarot to write my books, because I think that's pretty sick. It's the subject of my most recent YouTube video, but I can also break it down here too. I like to say that I really don't do anything with the tarot readings. You can thank Apollo for freaky accuracy. I am merely just the hand. Tarot's cool because it's just like, in my opinion, if I had to like science explain it, I think quantum entanglement is at play, and we don't have the science to explain it yet, but maybe in the future we will. Pattern recognition go crazy with tarot cards. I find that they're unnecessarily accurate for no reason. They mostly just yell at me, though. I'm not allowed to read my own tarot because it just gets angry. They just yell at me. They're like, you're stinky. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. This is the same color, isn't it? Yeah, it is. That's what I thought. Oh, no. And that's a hard thing. You'll get through it. I believe in you, Pizza Lover. You got it. It's never easy going through shit where, like, you feel like effectively you've had your, like, brain ripped up and, like, ultra weeded. It's, like, it's not great. Whoops, that is not the file that I wanted to open. Alright, I think we made it back from Ad Hell. So my trans story time is that I've always known that I was trans. I knew it when I was a little kid. And my whole childhood, I was like, I definitely did not fit into the like girl box like at all. And I was doing a lot of girly shit as a kid. I was doing like dance. I danced professionally for like 14 years as a kid, and we're talking like potentially like five classes a week oftentimes. The lady that ran the dance studio wanted me to go competitive, especially for tap, and it was awful. It was a really bad. It was a really bad period. Growing up also in Colorado Springs as well, a lot of people were very prejudiced, and they were just awful fucking people. So I should have known. The first Halloween I can remember being really bullied for it just existing and not really fitting into that box. I shit you not, I was probably like 6 or 7. I am an old ass millennial, and so my shit when I was a kid was Scary Godmother. That was like one of my favorite things ever, was that book series, and then eventually the animated film as well. And in Scary Godmother, there's this like, he's kind of like the boy interest a little bit, but his name's Orson, and he's a little vampire kid. And for Halloween, I decided that I wanted to go to the Halloween dress up at the dance studio as Orson. And I was the only person in the whole room not in a princess costume. So that should have been the world's largest red flag for myself, my family, literally everybody, that like I was not a normal kid. Like, and I acknowledge too that like my other go-to costume that I really liked to wear was Jar Jar fucking Binks, whose actor is gay, like legitimately, and he canonically subscribes to like, I think Jar Jar Binks is gay, and I love that for him. Jar Jar is our gay icon. I had every opportunity to be fucking Queen Amidala, and I did not. I wanted to be the goofy fucking dude with the sick gymnastic skills, and I wanted to be that guy. So that should have been a massive red flag. I spent my entire high school career getting mistaken for other boys and other men, and again, that should have been a massive tip-off that it was like, you know, this is not it. I was the only person in my high school that, when we did Treasure Island, I was the only girl at the time cast as a male character. All of the other kids ended up changing their characters if they were written as male pirates to female pirates. But for those of you who've not like read Treasure Island or are unfamiliar with the piece, literally everybody on the boat is a man. So people had the option, and my theater director asked me if I wanted to cross-dress. So I said yes. And I should have known at the time that was like, I don't know. There were so many fucking red flags. I remember one time, one of my friend's moms came to look for her kid. She was wondering where he was, and she ended up asking me. She was like, you know, where's Juan? And I was like one of the very few students in theater that spoke Spanish, and his dad was from the Mexican embassy, so like they were both just like full Spanish speakers. And so I was talking to her, and then we started talking about school stuff, and she had ended up saying like, you know, are you guys going to prom? Because Juan is super excited about the prom, and I was like, yeah, totally. And I was talking to her about, you know, nobody's asked me yet, but if nobody asked me, I'm just gonna go by myself, you know, like all of those things. And she ended up looking at me. She was like, well, you're such a nice boy. Somebody's gonna ask you. Because I was in costume. So I was like, what the fuck? And it was a brain-bending moment where I was like, well, wait a second. Like, maybe I do want to go to prom with a girl and not with Like, what? And so it was just fucking, it was brain-bending shit. There were several moments where, like, throughout high school also, where I had other girls being like, man, I wish you were a man, and I would want to date you. And it was just very fucking confusing. I was just like, maybe I just got the gay vibes. I don't fucking know. Like, I don't know what's going on. So I didn't really think about it super fucking hard. But I always felt like wearing women's clothing was, like, performative. It felt like I was in drag 24/7. So I don't mind wearing those things, but it was absolutely like a costume. I felt like I was getting ready to do another dance recital. You know, it was just another fucking costume, whether it was the hair or the makeup. It was a performance at the end of the day. And, I didn't dislike it, but then as I got older, I think I started to realize I really disliked the way people treated me. Partially because the way men treat women is just shit. And especially in the U.S. Here, I'm speaking from a U.S. experience. I was a particularly small girl. I was like 95 pounds. I've described myself as like a pixie goth. I was very small. And that led to a lot of men approaching me and addressing me in a way that was, like, super possessive. You know, it was like, I physically want to throw you around, grab you, move you where I want to move you. And it was like, this is kind of creepy. I don't really like this. And, like, not everybody I dated did that on purpose. But it was more often than not that I was being treated as a desirable object. Looking back on it, going through college too, I was the only girl in the game art department. So in my entire college, in the game design program, I was the only girl. So every single fucking man in the vicinity was competing for me, and I ended up having a very long relationship with a guy who was fantastic. He was great. I have literally nothing bad to say about him at all. He was really awesome. But that didn't stop other dudes from being super creepy. And even after I started dating him and it was clear that we were in a very long-lasting relationship, other dudes were still like, well, when are you going to break up with him? Like, when are you going to come and date me? And it's like, Jesus Christ, like, you guys are so fucking toxic. Like, it was really bad. So I attributed that to dudes being dudes, and I was very thankful for my boyfriend at the time that he was the first person that I had ever dated or been around that didn't treat me like I was a fucking object. So that was pretty cool. A plus to that guy. He was great. And then things really hit. I think I started to have kind of like an identity crisis after I went through a very traumatizing experience at a workplace, experienced some pretty extreme racism, not towards myself, but toward one of my best friends, one of my coworkers at the time at that place. And I watched pretty extreme homophobia coming from the same employers as well. That resulted in me having arguably a mental breakdown. And I ended up quitting and deciding to do art full time. That was fine. I was left alone a lot by myself because my boyfriend that I was living with, he ended up, having a full-time job working at the same college. He was gone most of the day, so it was a lot of me just fucking sitting there thinking about shit. And I still really didn't feel like myself or like I was happy with who I was. My career wasn't really going anywhere. I constantly felt like I was effectively just like a leech, being a full-time artist is awful. I was on food stamps. I was making about 67 cents an hour. It was crazy. COVID hit. Things stayed kind of the same. But right before COVID, this is really the important part of this story. Right before COVID, my friends and I wanted to do a tabletop RPG show very similar to like the Legends of Evantris. Or Critical Role. We were really inspired by them. We thought, hey, maybe we can do this. And we started our own show. And it was based off of the video game system City of Mist, or the tabletop RPG game City of Mist. We decided we didn't want to do D&D because we felt like it was going to be cooler if we stood out in some way and did a different system. So we decided to go forward with City of Mist, and then effectively the premise of that is it's a superhero sort of system, and you're living as like an underground person with superpowers in a city. that's protected effectively by a magic bubble. So a bunch of weird shit goes on. There's a little bit of like Vampire the Masquerade elements to it. And all in all, it's a very fun system. I ended up creating a character for that. His name is Nathan. And Nathan was a burnt out, elder-ish millennial with like literally 7 degrees. That's the joke. Is it like I'm Nathan Lamb and I have 7 degrees. Jesus Christ. He effectively ended up being unable to be successful in his own life because the only thing he was good at was going to school. He ended up getting roped into this fucking underground organization, and they started abusing him to get at his superpower, not really caring about him as a human. The power was more important. And in the way that this system works, in order for your powers to fully surface, the psyche of the person in the body has to die in order to release that power. And so the whole show was really about him constantly struggling with effectively being eaten alive by his own mental illness. A lot of us wanted to commit to the bit. We found that, like, being theater kids ourselves, dressing up and doing the like whole costume thing was going to make the overall thing more immersive. So some of us, it was mostly me. Jace also was involved in this as well. And even our DM too was very excited to be able to dress up with costumes. Our maps, for example, were all illustrations. I actually have some of the illustrations, I think, still on my computer. But they were all illustrations of background maps. It was almost like a storybook, like pop-up style set kind of a thing that we had going on, so we could show everybody, you know, like what the characters looked like as models and things like that. We were making our own illustrated models. So I decided to dress up as Nathan in order to be able to act appropriately. And there were times where the superpower persona would end up being more prevalent. In my case, his superpowers were Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And so he was kind of a special exception in this universe. He could switch very freely between those personalities. He suspected that he had DID and then found out, no, it wasn't DID this whole time. It was actually just fucking superhero shit, and I had no idea. So there were days that I was also acting and dressing mostly as Henry as well. And then later on, Ed, and then Faraday too. So there were many facets of this particular character. It's very similar to the video game. God, there's that one video game that just came out. Alters. It's very, very similar to I love the premise behind this game. The Alters, kind of a similar premise. Long story short, I wore his stupid fucking button-downs, and I was, you know, as a theater kid, I'm very lucky. My mom's a barber. I have a lot of access to high-quality stage materials, and so it was different than what I had done before with cosplay, where it was like, oh, I'm just kind of wearing, you know, stuff for fun, and these costume pieces are, you know, relatively basic. I was doing, like, full theater sideburns, wigs, costumes, stage makeup, all of those things. And it got to a point where I would get done with shooting, because we would be doing 3-hour shoots once a week, every week. And I was looking at myself in the mirror, and I was like, bro, I don't want to take this off. Like, I don't want to do that. So that made the breakdown that I was actively having at the time significantly worse. Because then I'm also now adding an identity crisis on top of effectively what I didn't realize at the time, but what I know now, which was just fucking raw dogging PTSD. So that was not fun. And so then the identity crisis piece started to come into that as well. I played very briefly with like being non-binary, because I was like, well, maybe I don't have to go fully into this. Maybe I'm misinterpreting the situation. Maybe I don't fully understand what is going on, when in reality, my ass was very trans, and I didn't know, it ended up getting to a point where that guy that I had been dating for effectively a decade, I think, understood what was going on and was like, hey, so I'm just like not into dudes, and this is just kind of the way that it goes, so sorry about that, chief. And we broke up. And then I moved out, and then I started dating Jace, who also is trans, and then just fucking went into transition, almost got disowned by my parents, And now here we fucking are. So that is my long-ass story. Why do we have the same favorite character from Scary Godmother? Orson is a fucking icon, okay? He's great. Oh my god. I didn't realize I was bi until a few years ago. Yeah, sometimes it just takes some time to have those, like, fucking things cook. The first clue I was bi was when I was really young. I saw, oh, Madame Fleury, and I felt a little something, something. You're like, wait a second. Hold on. Yeah, I came out and I transitioned at 26, so I guess late bloomer, question mark? Maybe? So it was not immediate, for sure. Yeah, not immediate at all. What do you think about opossums? I think they're fucking cute. One of my favorite musicians is a possum named Joni Rotten. She's fucking great. I love and appreciate the possums. Opossums or possums. Both of them. They are fucking fantastic. This is actually panel 3. I need to relabel these because otherwise I'm going to get confused. I mislabeled these. But that is my tale of fucking woe. Yeah, and it's like, what was weird for me is that I think that the thing that made it very difficult was that I didn't really experience dysphoria, right? So a lot of people, when they have the trans experience, and it's definitely, of course, not to say that anybody's experience is wrong. I recognize mine is very unique in the sense that, like, I never really had those moments that a lot of people talk about where they look at themselves and they're like, oh my god, I hate the way that I look. I feel gross. I don't feel like I fit in my body, like any of those things. I just did not experience that at all. So I was trying to understand where my brain was going, where it's like, okay, well, like, why, right? Like, what is it looking for? Because if I'm not unhappy as a woman, why am I experiencing these thoughts? So that was the biggest hurdle, and probably the reason why I didn't realize that I was trans for a very long time, because there was just no reason to even think it. It was just like, it didn't make any sense. So kind of interesting. Yes. Oh my god. I thought I was bi, and then after Twitter, I've discovered I'm pan. Yeah, because like my sexual orientation and my romantic orientation was super easy for me. As a kid, there was no question in my mind. I have been kissed by many men and many women. I did not give a shit. There were so many women that were sexually attracted to me in high school that I was like, that's interesting. And like, I just recognized, I'm like, I'm a hot girl, question mark? And that was only, of course, further complicated by people being like, well, I don't understand. I'm straight. Why do I find you attractive? I'm like, bitch, I don't know. That's between you and God, man. I don't fucking know. So that ended up being not really that difficult. As somebody who is demisexual, it was like, okay, well, I realize that it's like, it takes me a fucking while to get there, but like, I don't really care who the person is. I'm attracted to them over time, you know? And that's all that there is to it. And as I got older, I realized that a lot of the romantic validation comes from being treated as a man. I'm more comfortable in more masculine roles, so that way it's less... like the thing that bugged me the most about presenting as a woman was that feeling of being like, you're a fucking sex object. Like, that's it. The most demoralizing moment of my life was having some fucking pedophile on the street on Colfax in Denver look at me as a fully adult person being like, I like it when they look like they're 12. And I thought about that, and I still fucking think about that every fucking day. I'm like, thank you, random homeless man on Colfax. You're fucking horrifying. So it was those things that made me uncomfortable. But, like, I was okay being in that role, being feminine. Because again, it was like it was a theater role, so to speak. In my mind, I had this character, and I was like, okay, I know who this character is, and this person is a goth. You know, she is cute, she's smart, she's funny, she's not like other girls. You know, there were all of these things in my brain that I was like, I can play this character. I don't have any issues playing this character. And I don't know, there's still a lot about, I think, who I am as a person that I am continuously struggling to identify. But also, too, I recognize part of it was probably because I was on the wrong dosage of testosterone for fucking forever, it turns out. So that's getting better as my dosage is adjusted and is more effective. So, you know, death to that weirdo. Yeah, it was some 70-year-old homeless man on Colfax. I don't think he's probably dead. Like, not to be that guy, but he's probably fucking dead. Yeah, Cal, I think I had a very similar experience. Yeah, and that's why it took me so long to like think about it. Is it's like there wasn't really anything wrong, but when I stepped into this other role, all of a sudden it was like, oh, well, this feels much, much, much better. Much better. So it ended up being like pretty obvious at that point. At least for me anyway. And then my parents yelled at me a lot as a fully grown ass adult. And then I started hormones and had 3 seizures. And not because of the hormones. Those two things are fucking not connected. I was talking to my best friend about lavender marriages. Yo, yeah, why can't you be a man? Oh my god, right? No, I had a lot of people, Lava. Like, there were so many people in high school, like, that would ask me that. Like, Colorado Springs, again, is a very weird fucking place. So I ended up having a friend whose parent, or well, rather, she was with her aunt because her parents fucking were arrested for running a meth lab. So that's fun. So she lived with her aunt and uncle, and her aunt accused me of having phone sex with this girl, which was not true. She was just having like fucking breakdowns and constantly wanted to call me in the middle of the night because she was having a rough time. But like, that girl kissed me. She was staunchly Christian, and I think was having a really difficult time understanding like, why would I want to do this with this person if I am straight, if I am, you know, not really experiencing these things. Like, it's very confusing, you know what I mean? And so like after those kinds of incidents, it's like, okay, well, maybe other people are also not seeing me as feminine, and that should be a pretty big like red flag, like indicator that something is going on. I have a very feminine face. I'm gonna hold on. Here's my face. I recognize that it's better now because hormones, but I have a super feminine face, and I either one get asked where my parents are because I look like I'm fucking 12, or two, people just assume I'm a butch lesbian. So I don't know if this is gonna help you. Well, actually, I guess in this case, it might. It's either going to confuse people more, pizza lover, because they're going to be like, that person looks lesbian, or it's just you're going to just get misgendered 7 ways to Sunday. That's what happens to me. Like, either one, people are like, ma'am, or they're like, you're a boy. You're a little boy. You're like a little lad. And I'm like, this is not fucking helpful. So I don't know if you want that level of confusion. I have like 3 points in my life that I can point to as me realizing. Yeah, it's like it normally is like that. Like, they say hindsight's 20/20 or some shit. And I think that's very, very true. Where it's like, bro, there are so many things that I can look at that would be like, this was so fucking obvious that this was a thing, and like, why? But seriously though, if we want a pizza lover, what we can do is we can fucking hodgepodge together all of our features, and maybe what we will have at the end of the day is a successful, not easily misgendered set of shit. I can't. Like, until I adjusted my testosterone dosage recently, I was like, like the worst was getting misgendered on the phone. Like super fucking weird. Not great. But like yeah, upping my dosage barely definitely massively changed my my perception. Well, and also too, pizza lover, at least for me, and I don't know if this applies to you, but I found that what determines people's perception of gender the most is actually height. So my last boyfriend that I dated for 10 years, he had beautiful long brown hair that went down to his like waist, very long hair, and a full ass beard. And because he was 5'4", from behind, if people didn't see the beard on, like, and this guy was a rock climber, okay? He's jacked as shit. He had like Dorito body. He was buff as fuck, right? And he looks masculine from behind, at least to me, right? He was still masculine. But because he had long hair and was short, people would man him all the fucking time. All the time. So I feel like that's what happens to me, is that even though I don't sound feminine necessarily, it does not matter because people are going to be perceiving height first. And that causes some weird shit. That causes some weird shit. So I feel like if you're tall too, like my friend Jelaine, for example, they're non-binary, but like they get surd all the time because they're like 5'11", you know? I am short and I have short hair. That's fucking crazy. Yeah, I don't know. People I think do mental fucking gymnastics when they look at other people. It's like that white lady doing math meme, you know, where they're like trying to fucking do rocket science to figure out what the fuck is going on. Oh my god. No, for real, Kyle, you're right. Yeah, and it's less bad. It is definitely less bad to be misgendered as a young person, or to be perceived as a young person than feminine. So there's that, I guess. Chips, you're too powerful. We will ride the little boy energy forever. I don't... I'm trying to aim for more androgynous. That's dope, though. Americans fucking, they're just really bad at the, like, androgyny or, like, gender fluid shit. Like, they do not fucking understand. Like, anything that falls out of, like, hyper feminine or hyper masculine, I think really throws people for a fucking loop, which does kind of suck, because I think for me there was a lot of pressure to present as hyper ultra fucking masculine, because I was so upset with getting misgendered. Like, now that I had finally figured out what the fuck was wrong with me, it's like, okay, well, I don't want to get misgendered, so how do I stop people from doing that? And it's like, here, you know, if you don't have a full fucking beard and are the size of a goddamn fucking bear, you're not perceived as a man. And then if you don't wear, like, if you don't fit into that, like, hyper feminine expectation of, like, pink and skirts and long hair and curly hair and makeup, like, you're automatically not a woman, you know? So it's like, this is unfair to effectively fucking everybody. This is insane. It just is really lame. So that's been, at least for me, my biggest struggle, I think, was that. Yeah, Gabriel, that's a pretty typical response, I think, when people look at me. And so that has been the frustration, is that there's a lot of, like, I recognize I am very androgynous looking, because I have a softer, rounder face, but, like, my jaw is pretty masculine, my nose is pretty masculine. My voice has been my biggest insecurity, and so that has changed again very, very recently. I did have, like, a pretty significant voice dip first starting HRT, but that's not necessarily been a recent thing until now. Let's see. Oh my god, it's time to feed the Snorlax. If you haven't had a snack, eat a dang snack. Eat a schnacky, a little schnacky poo. Okay, here's Wukong getting slapped. Punched directly in the arm. Whack. Yeah, it's only been very recently, I would say, that I've not been misgendered playing video games. And like, let me fucking tell you, the difference being in Overwatch, being perceived as a woman or being perceived as a man, completely fucking different. That shit's insane. So, everybody go give your femme presenting and girly girls who play video games a big fucking hug, because when I say the fucking abuse from little bitch incels on the internet being a girl, insane. There's a reason most girls have their fucking comms off, because I swear to God. Your peach fuzz is too powerful, bro. Crazy. Yeah, Jace, poor Jace. Like, I feel like this is truly the accumulation, like the epitome of this entire conversation. Jace has a full ass beard, but because he has short curly blue hair and is also kind of short, people will dead ass look directly into his face and be like, "Ma'am," and it's like, what are you doing? What are you fucking looking at? Like, what's happening? So really weird. If someone can misgender you, they will. That's the lesson I've learned, is it will fucking happen no matter what. I don't like this. I discovered I was non-binary and ace like 10 years after a toxic relationship. Yeah, mood. I didn't know how my parents were going to react, but they ended up freaking the fuck out. So that was not great. I had hoped that they would be a little bit more tolerant and less explosive. They're fine now, but it was like fucking dragging myself up a hill full of cactuses in order to get them to not flip their shit. It was really annoying. Yes, everybody's female. Yeah, we're still, as funny as some of these things are, we're still very, very much suffering from the actions of this administration. My favorite thing that's happened recently is fucking Caitlyn Jenner complaining to the Trump administration about how she can't get a correct passport. She can't travel internationally because as a trans woman, she was given a male passport. She wrote a fucking private letter to Donald Trump being like, "Can you fix just my passport?" Go fuck yourself, Caitlyn. Like, I'm sorry. Like, holy shit. So we're still in the middle of that massive lawsuit, and I am nervous that there is a chance that I won't be able to travel very easily. But my passport, I ended up having to put myself into an FBI database in order to get the correct passport. So, as of right now, the Trump administration is trying to rule that trans people are fucking terrorists. Like, it's a horrible fucking time to be a trans person in the U.S. I let a guy in League think I was a guy. We chilled and never talked in calls, and then one day I randomly told him, since he wanted to join a call with his friends and him, "Yeah, bro. Oh my God." He said, "Oh," and then and then unfriended you. What the fuck? That's so fucked up. Yeah, but it gets weird. People get fucking weird. Yeah, most people, I would argue, and now again, I'm not a scientist nor a doctor, but I would argue sexuality and gender is like a bell curve. It is more likely that somebody is at least a little bit bisexual or pansexual than it is that they're 100% perfectly straight. So it's fairly normal for, I think, most humans to have an experience where you're like 99% straight, and then there's that like one time and you're like, that's weird, and then you never experience it again. Oh my gosh, she's such a pick-me. Yeah, it just boggles my mind. I'm like, how did you not fucking expect that this was going to happen to you? It's just really weird. I don't think that her critical thinking skills are that good. I realized I was a demi-girl because I was like, oh yeah, non-binary suits me, but I also feel feminine. Yeah, I love that we have so much like great language to be able to describe what was going on. Again, as a 4,000-year-old man, you know, when I was in high school, we didn't have that fucking language. You know, like, I think pretty much most of the people that I knew were queer to some degree. You We just kind of we didn't really describe it. It was just like, oh, this person likes girls, this person likes guys, and there was really no like further exploration of that. It's like if you wore feminine clothes, you were probably just gay. If you wore more masculine clothes, you were probably just gay. You know, there wasn't really like anything more. So it is very cool to see how language has expanded. Like the term demigirl and demiboy did not fucking exist when I was a kid. Like it was just, that was not there. Yeah, and like honestly, being trans is really just how you define it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know that there are plenty of non-binary people who identify as trans, and then there are some non-binary people who don't identify as trans, right? Because they don't feel like they're sliding along the spectrum in any way, which I think is totally valid. You know, it's one of those things. I think that as of right now, from advice from again an ancient old fucking man living in the U.S. trying to travel and trying to get out of the country. Probably for the sake of safety, not identifying as trans at this current moment is probably a good idea until things calm down if you live in the US. But you can still do that like socially, right? It's just like I would not recommend doing any modifications to paperwork or things like that. Simply because if you do that, you will get into a fucking horrendous legal hassle. Can be really annoying. I'm actually going to do this. Yeah, I love being trans. I'm definitely not afraid of being trans. They're trying to do a bunch of tricky ass shit that is not working really. Like it's just illegal at the base of the word. Like thankfully, you know, we're seeing good things happen. Like RFK Jr.'s ban on trans healthcare for children was just shot down. They ruled that no, you can't restrict the kind of healthcare that kids get. You know, so no matter how badly they want to be able to say that they can do this shit, there will always be people who go, bro, just at the end of the day, that's fucking illegal. Right? You can't be doing that shit. Which is super helpful for us. So, at the end of the day, we'll probably be okay, but it's going to be the legal fight of all fucking legal fights to get there. So, keeping your eye on people like Erin in the Morning, for example. She's a trans reporter married to the only trans Montana state rep. She also is amazing, that trans Montana state rep. I can't remember what her... Zoe Zephyr. That's her name. Zoe Zephyr. She's very cool. Erin has a very up-to-date database on trans issues in the U.S. What are like states that are no-fly zones for trans people? How to stay safe as a trans person? So I would highly recommend following her as a news source to be able to stay on top of that shit, just so that way you can be safe. But in terms of like legal transition, I would avoid it right now. Things may change. Even by November, things could potentially change, but that would at least be me. I have plenty of trans friends who are very proud and very, open about their transness, but like I think about my one friend who has been fighting for trans rights in Lakewood, Colorado, and like they got their car keyed by cops, because the cops really fucking hate them. So that's a very real thing that can happen. So depending on how open you are, it is important to keep in mind that, again, this administration is trying to classify trans activists as terrorists in the same way that they would have classified Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. as a terrorist, right? So looking at that realistically and just making sure you're safe is really the most important part. Only do as much as you feel like you can. And it is a-okay to not want to put yourself into situations of danger. Yeah, it's really the paperwork thing that's like the fucking issue at the moment. Ooh, the bird adopts. Oh my god, I'm so excited, Lava. I can't wait to see her adopts. They're so cute. I'm stoked. I'm stoked about it. Drag this this all the way down. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and it really is about knowing what the legalities are in each state because, like, yeah, I'm very lucky that here in Colorado we have a gay Jewish governor, you know, so that dude literally will fucking fight to the death over trans people's ability to be able to successfully transition, which I'm very thankful for. And I don't think that that's going to change anytime soon. I think that we will continue to probably be in a pretty safe place here, but there are other places, like if I was a trans person in Florida, like absolutely the fuck not. Or in Kansas right now, they're literally bounty hunting people in Kansas right now. So knowing where you are, point being, knowing where you are, what you legally have the ability to do in your area, those things are going to be really, really important. I'm very excited to move to a country that just does not fucking do this shit. Canada, I'm ready to join the maple syrup people. I say that with much love. British Columbia isn't even really known for the maple syrup, to be quite fucking honest. Yeah, I just can't use public bathrooms here. Yeah, and that's I think like the biggest indicator for like a lot of Erin in the mornings you know, maps. Like she makes these trans safety maps effectively, and that's a lot of it. So I think Texas, Florida, and Kansas are currently the worst. But everywhere in the U.S. is kind of in this ambiguous, like, uh-oh zone where it's like, ooh, this could get fucking bad at pretty much any time. So knowing that, do know that it is being pushed back against. It's just gonna be gross trying to fucking get through it. I'm very stoked to go just kind of chill out somewhere where it just doesn't fucking matter, you know? For a hot second. I'm not directly under threat. Oh, that's actually a great idea, Chips. And to be honest, like, I would suggest, like, if you can find some place to post it anonymously, or if you want to send it to somebody like Erin in the morning, the list that you have for the area that you're in, you know, I think other trans people might find that to be useful, right? Building resources. It is kind of fucking sad that we have to do that. There's an app that I absolutely love, and this is also potentially useful for other, not only LGBTQ plus people, but also obviously people of color. For those of you who don't know, in the U.S., there was a black man who ended up, during the Jim Crow period, he ended up creating this thing that he called the Green Book. And the Green Book was a resource for black Americans to know which towns were sundown towns and which ones were not okay to go into. You know, so it's like, how do you stay safe? And so a lot of black Americans carried this book around so that way they would not be threatened in certain cities. Like certain cities were okay, certain weren't. So the Green Book itself doesn't exist, but there is a Green Book app. I should say that doesn't exist anymore. But the Green Book app is effectively an extension of that. And it lists like all of the places that black Americans have had good experiences in. And my thinking is if it is safe for black Americans, it's probably pretty okay for me. So I found that app is particularly really, really, really useful. And they update it all the time. People are constantly rating and reporting businesses, or if people are just dicks to them in general, then that helps. So if you're ever traveling, that would be a recommendation for an application that I would use. Virginia is probably going to actually get a lot better, actually, with their new governor. It likely will be better in Virginia. She's just been kicking ass since she got elected. But this is also, too, not to like get on the fucking politics soapbox or anything, but it is exceptionally important. If you have the ability to vote in the U.S. in this upcoming November election, just do it. I'm I know it might seem overwhelming or like we don't have a lot of voice or a lot of say, but voting in this upcoming election will determine the outcome of the next presidency as well. Like, from like a pattern recognition and like a history standpoint, this election in November likely will be the most important election that we will face in this decade. Like, and I wish I was not exaggerating, but it is really fucking important. So get out there. Anybody that you've seen doing freaky shit, just vote them out. If we all show up, they literally can't. They can't do jack shit. So fucking do your best, And that's our next plan of attack there. And it will help. It will make things better. They're doing literally everything that they can to make sure that we don't do that, so kick them in the teeth. Using the power of democracy or something, question mark? Why is this? Sorry, I'm like doing I'm doing new posing for this page. Why is this just the arm? The fuck is going on? Oh, there it is. That's what I'm looking for. Actually, I think I'm going to do this. Yeah, and it's hard. And I recognize a lot of people in here are quite younger than me, too. Yeah. That's, I think, what makes the situation so fucking frustrating is that for a lot of people, it's like Donald's stupid fucking ass is all that they've known. As somebody who came from, I remember when Obama was first elected, we got gay marriage, and he wasn't a perfect president by any means, but I was feeling, I felt so hopeful at that time. And at that time, I didn't even identify as gay. I was like, this guy's just nice. This is just good shit. So knowing that, we can get back to that point, we just have to, really, this is like a dying animal in a death rattle. They are very, very, very fucking upset. And will do everything that they can to make sure that they can hold on to their little pieces of money as long as possible. So arguably, and this is, I think, the best advice that I could give as somebody who's about give or take a decade older for the most part. Voting in primaries and voting in local elections will always be more impactful than voting in federal. Unfortunately, in our democracy, our power is not very strong in federal. So if you want to change good things in your area, voting in the local elections and in primaries, if you can, is very, very important. Yeah, to be honest, Chips, I wouldn't beat yourself up too much over that. I think what we're also learning as well is that it's very likely that these fuckers just cheat. So even in cases where it's well, I should have done this, I should have voted over here, I should have done this, it's very likely that at the federal level, it wouldn't fucking really matter anyway. So that's why I say vote as much as you can local, because you can make a difference in your community for sure. But yeah, it's pretty gross. It ain't a good place to be in. It's not a fun place. Oh god, I gotta do a fucking kip up. Why do I do this to myself? This is actually gonna suck. I'm gonna have to, I won't have any kind of usable template for this particular motion. So I'm gonna have to do this from scratch here. I think we're almost done with the actual fight though. Almost there. I think that the one hopeful thing that I will say, and I thought of something like, and I saw a video earlier this morning, and I thought it was it was really, really nice to think about. And then it'll also lead into my next conversation here. But I saw a black historian this morning talking about the guy, the asshole, who effectively wrote into law, very similarly to what we're seeing with trans people now. But he was the bitch who wrote into law that it was legal in the South, or in any states that chose to do so, for white people to bounty hunt black people and hunt them down. And if they were suspected of being a runaway slave, that person who found them had the legal right to profit off of selling them back into the slave market if it turned out that they were a runaway slave. That bitch, Millard Fillmore, nobody normally knows who he is, right? Like, when I think of lists of presidents, my first thought is not, oh yeah, Millard Fillmore, the very well-known one-term president that everybody thinks about. Like nobody remembers who the bitch is. Everybody remembers the person who defied that rule, who defied that bullshit, horrible, dehumanizing law, and it's Harriet fucking Tubman, right? Everybody remembers Harriet because she was arguably, 1, more important, 2, more inspirational, and 3, ultimately at the end of the day, made a difference. And she was the one, she's the person that history will remember. So at the end of the day, people are going to remember that these people were little pieces of garbaggio, little pieces of shit. But is it likely that they're going to actually remember who these people are? Probably not. Like, people like Marjorie Taylor Greene and like Nancy Mace, they are going to go down in history as people nobody gives a fuck about. Like, nobody's going to remember. But they will remember everybody that showed up to the No Kings protests or protested silently, right? You don't even have to do things that are explosive or insane or intense, right? You just have to persist. The horrors persist and so do I, or some shit. Oh my god, lava. I did some simple ass shit. I did like the most simple Toy House page. I was like, my brain, I had zero energy. Zero energy to do that. So I was like, here's my simple ass page. That's what I did. I'm lazy though. I recognize what I am. I watched a video about black soldiers who fought against corrupt officials in their town, Athens, Tennessee. Yeah, I believe it. I'm unfamiliar with the event, but I mean, we can think of loads of amazing examples of people really putting up a fucking fight, you know, and doing really amazing things and being really strong, you know. So we got this. It's gonna suck. It ain't gonna be fun. It's gonna be fucking awful. But we got it. And on that note, if you're as pissed off about corruption as I am, y'all should read my book, Court of Snakes. That's a terrible fucking segue. Terrible! I'm terrible. But for real though, the book, I started writing it when I was younger, and I didn't know. I think I had a better idea, or like I didn't have a good enough idea of like what I wanted from the book when I first started writing it. And as I got older and as I ended up getting a little bit more life experience mostly, I ended up I don't know, finding that I was close to a good story, but not quite there. So I think Court of Snakes does a good job exploring all of this bullshit and how we are like coping, as best as we can in this. But I do think it tackles a lot of topics of like systemic racism and just really toxic ass beliefs and viewpoints from, like, I don't know, a horror dystopian standpoint. So if this kind of shit pisses you off as much as it pisses me off, I think you would enjoy that book series. Also, there's tarot magic. Also, the tarot card system I used was completely random, which is really, really fun. And I thought it was at least kind of fun and effective. Hold on, I'm trying to get this guy to straddle this dude. This isn't working, guys. Hi, Chungus. Oh, we got a posture check. Oh, we got a whole self-care combo. Oh, I was shrimping so bad, Gabriel. Thank you. One hell of a plug. No, but for real, though, like, the story centralizes around Taryn and Parissa. Taryn himself is a, like they believe that they're in the last city on Earth. I should preface that. They believe that they are in the last surviving U.S. city because there was, quote, a great war. And in this great war, people got blasted off the face of the earth. And that's resulted in these people in the city, Sageno, being potentially the only ones left. And because of that, they subscribe to this ideology that the rulers call the old way. And it is a pretty archaic set of social rules and things like that they try to employ in order to keep people from killing each other, and then also to make sure that people are, keeping their asses in line. So Taryn comes from the line of people who are called sovereigns, and they are the rulers of this city, the people up at the top. And the sovereigns, his parents were pretty progressive and pretty okay. So as time has gone on, the sovereign rulers have become less and less bad overall. But people, obviously, who like the status quo do not like that. So there's a lot of political opposition to that. And Taryn's parents are assassinated because they are considered a threat. So Taryn is ousted from his home and is effectively made a fugitive because the guy in power really wants to assassinate that kid as well. And that puts him on the run. He ends up joining up with this guy who goes by the King, is the name of his resistance name, ? And this guy somehow has access to crazy magic. Nobody really knows how he does it. And it turns out, as Taryn gets to know him better, he uses a magic deck of tarot cards, blind justice, as he so aptly likes to call it, to be able to, I guess, just overall break the system, right? He's putting his faith in blind faith, so to speak, to try and make sense of the world and do things correctly. Reset the universe, reset the law of the world, right? And he ends up giving Taryn these cards. So fate kind of goes into his hands. Straddle, you say yes. No, fucking this guy's knocked Wukong to the ground, and he is currently punching the shit out of him on the ground. And it is really awkward. So I'm trying to get this punch to function, and let me tell you, it is super awkward. This pose is ridiculous. But actually, I think it's working. It's super awkward. We're figuring it out. So sorry, this is taking forever. When I say that this is like the worst, I really do mean it. But I would much rather be doing this than struggling with reference images. So we're all right. Let me just make sure that this you know what? This straddling is not accurate, but people won't know. That's all I gotta say, is that people won't know. He's trying to, not to make a horrible joke, but bear hug the shit out of him. He's teabagging the fuck out of Wukong right now, not gonna lie. But yeah, so Tyrion gets a hold of these these tarot cards and starts to learn that like the system is really fucking corrupt, like really, really bad. And he had no idea, right? He was raised in this position of privilege and he had no way of knowing, you know, their education is super fucking biased and awful. And he had no way of knowing that things were that bad. And so part of the story is about him learning that things, you know, you can grow up and believe the things that you believe, but at the end of the day, propaganda is really fucking powerful. And it's very likely that people were misleading you, you know. But then at the same time, the other main character is this girl, Parissa. She is the daughter of the guy that usurped Terran. So he believes that he is in the right and knows what's best for the city of Sageno. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the dude's a white supremacist, right? And so his daughter is half black. And he would much rather not have anything to do with her at all. And at the end of the day, he ends up shipping her off to a military camp where he kind of just hopes that she's going to die. Like, he's hoping that she's going to become effectively so exhausted that she doesn't survive. But she's a fucking fighter, and she ends up definitely surviving, climbing to the top of the ranks in the military, and then effectively military coups her own dad. So all in all, each character is really kind of handling the struggle in their own way, but it at the end of the day is really about two teens trying to change the world, you know, in a positive way. And there's RNG tarot magic, which I particularly love. I wrote this book using the tarot deck that I do readings for you guys from. And the incredible thing is that, like, there's no take backsies, right? So if I drew a card, every time a character draws a card to use the magic in the book, I drew a random tarot card, and there was definitely no take backsies. So if I drew something and it ended up being a really intense card, you know, I had to kind of stick with it, and I didn't really change anything. So that resulted in some really interesting shit. Like, at one point they're raiding a government building and I drew the tower and it just blows the whole fucking building up, you know. So it's kind of cool, kind of fun. But I really hope, like, at the end of the day, I write a lot of, like, what I would like to call hopecore. You know, my goal is to not make people super depressed reading the book. The goal is to have hope at the end of the day. So I think you all might like it. Okay, this is literally the exact pose that I need. Okay, so let me make this guy fall backward now. Now I gotta go fucking put in the other direction. This is so awful. Sorry, this is probably the worst sequence. I got it. I got it. I got it. Okay, there we go. But yeah, definitely, I think as my experience with this administration, it ended up changing my perspective of the world, and probably in a I don't know, maybe a negative way, as I've been dealing with this shit. And I really wanted to write something that gives younger people a lot of hope and confidence that no matter what, you definitely have the power to change the world. Do you know a good site for doing random themes or color schemes for a character? I just use colors.com. If you go to random color palette generator, the first thing that'll come up is coolers. But like, this is super fast. You can just go in here, get out of here, start the generator, and then literally you can just hit the space bar and it'll randomly generate colors. And say you like a color scheme and you like one specific color but hate everything else, or like, well, actually, I'm going to try and find one that actually has an Uggo color. Like this. Okay, so I like all of these. You can lock them, and then this is the only one I want to change. Boop! And so then it'll just generate that one color. But yeah, colors.com. I would recommend this to pretty much everybody. It depends. The book is for ages 13 to 18. So it's young adult, so it's for teenage age people. There's no explicit sex, and I would say Hunger Games level violence. I tend to write young adult, so it's definitely not like fucking Court of Thorns and Roses shit. Alright, let me figure out how to do this stupid kick up. Okay, hold on. Let me open this in a new tab here. This is going to be awful. Alright, let me curl the legs up all the way. I'm going to have to really curl this man. I believe in you, buddy! Oh, this is awful. Okay, these arms are going to end my life. I can do anything. I am a kid again. I can do anything. Dog won't bite. I am a kid again. I can do anything. Okay, but why will you not? Okay, I guess maybe let me bend this back. Hold on, I got it. I'm gonna figure it out. I gotta fucking beat Daz up until it does what I want. I gotta turn off a lot of parameters in order to get it to do this. Okay. This is gross. Yo, when I say that this is so broken, guys, you don't even know. You don't even know what I'm looking at right now. This is Daz is it's suffering. Oh my god. Let me twist this a little bit. Can I spread these fingers even more? Why you no do this? Okay, this is awful. I'm doing it though. Yeah, and I mean, all of my books, effectively, I like to make the joke that I write books for ages 8 to 188. So all of my books are arguably not only appropriate for all ages of readers typically, but often are I guess like good for and enjoyable for most ages of people. So even if the book is for a quote younger audience, most of my readers are adults. So ultimately, they're going to have the experience of being an adult reader and enjoying the book that way. By God, this is this is awful. I'm doing it. We don't talk about it. Wukong's arms are so broken right now. Everything is a-okay. He's gonna be fine, y'all. He's gonna be fine. He's gonna be okay. Hi, Mr. Bubs. Don't judge me, Mr. Bubbert. Don't. You don't need to get up there. I guess it's time for me to feed him, because otherwise he will be enraged and will accidentally turn my computer off. Knowing Mr. Bubs. Okay, I'm doing it. Wait a second. Is this the worst? Kind of. Okay, hold on. Let me... Oh God, this is awful. Oh shit. Oh my God, I know, Mr. Man, you hate me. He's like, bro, why? I'm like, I don't know. I'm sorry. Okay, almost there. Oh my God, I'm doing it. Oh my God. No, Mr. Bubs, don't put your fucking foot on my thing. Give me just a second, bro. Give me just a second. Let me get Wukong into this position and then I'll feed you. He needs to go into dead bug position, and this is awful. This is what I get for doing a martial arts comic, though. This is what I get. This is what I get. I cursed myself today. Okay, let me move Wukong up just a little bit more. God, this is what an awful angle. Holy shit. All right, hold on. All right, now I'm going to go feed this cat. Oh my God. But yeah, if you want to read more about the story, if you follow this link, it'll show you all of the information about the characters, about the series, what kind of content there is, and then also, too, what I'm trying to do with the backer kit specifically, who the characters are. You can also read samples of it, both the first book and the second book online, and then what kind of also extra rewards you get for supporting the project. So I'll leave that link here again. I'm going to be right back. Let me go feed this cat. 1 second. Alright, the cat has been sated. Alright. Okay, I think I got it. So let me throw this down now. Yeah, you can see this man is in a full straddle here, bro. Fucking he don't care. I actually may move this over here. We'll see. Somehow I'm like doing all of these poses that are like not very like, the censorship is not intense. Jeff cannot come for me. But yeah, I just got a bunch of great reviews. Oh, actually, just kidding. I'm a dumbass. I need to actually move this back. Where it was in the beginning was actually fine. But I just got a bunch of really great reviews on the first book. I need to update my story page actually for this backer kit to Oh, this is on Gary's page. Hold on. Hold on. Don't look at it, Gary. I feel bad. This will taint Gary's search history. Sorry, Gary. We're going into mine. We're going back into my Amazon. Don't ask questions. Hello? Okay. Boop. Hold on, let me turn shrimp mode back on. But yeah, we're now up to 12 reviews, which is really cool. It's got a 4.5 star. The most recent review that I received from a couple different people. Amazing. Actually, we got three new ones. This one's a 5-star from Lumaris. They loved it. This one I thought was nice. Very honest. I appreciate that a lot. But this most recent one was 5-star. Banger magic system, unique world. The magic system in this book is very fun and based on tarot. I also enjoy the anti-capitalist commentary of the book and the unique world building. It is a dystopian sci-fi, but it also felt deeply grounded in fantasy rather than being a high-tech future, which was a fun and unique take. Come for the political intrigue, stay for the banger magic system. Overall, enjoyed the ride. So thank you so much for that. This is a fucking hell yeah. So that's really cool. Lumaris is going to be writing a blurb for the back of Court of Snakes as well. They wrote Law of Dragons, which did very, very, very good on Kickstarter. They made like $7,000? Fucking crazy. So good for them. They did a great job. But Lumaris is going to be writing a blurb for my book, so I'm very honored. I wish I could get onto the Kickstarters We Love page. That'd be fucking sick. If the RNG gods want to be kind to me, that would be very cool. I've had a couple of friends end up on that Kickstarters We Love page. I am not one of them. I don't know what I did to the RNG gods that they don't like me, but I also tend to write for young audiences as well, so that does cause problems. A lot of my, like, I think looking at Brady on Booksprout, for example, is a great example of this, where it's like, unfortunately, they do not like the young adult, or middle grade, I should say, on pretty much any review site, to be honest. Just most people don't read middle grade, which is a shame. It's my favorite genre to write. Favorite age range, I should say. It brings me joy. It gives me the good joy. Why you do this? Okay, so let me fix the rotation. Let's see why translate. I'm doing it. This is hilariously... I need to make his form a little bit better. There we go. This kick is not the most fantastic in the whole world, so we're gonna kind of just fix that a little bit. All right. This is awful. Wow, some of these poses are also like so insanely bad. I'm fine. We're making it happen. Bless this man, that's all I gotta say. I'm gonna actually spread these legs a little bit more. Artist problems, guys. Okay, promise I'm almost done. Thank you for the fantastic conversation while I, you know, I've been working mostly on, this shit, like the actual positioning shit itself. I really, I appreciate you guys a lot. Oh my Lord. Let me take this thing. All right. I believe in you. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think really what did it for me was, one, having the knowledge of the 3D tools themselves, because I will admit there is a learning curve for using any kind of 3D tools, and my background in game art really helped me with that, like being able to use these things and not feel like I'm overwhelmed is really huge. But that being said, I do think that they are a useful tool. I recognize the biggest hurdle for me was getting over the fact that, like, everybody told me growing up that it's like if you use any kind of assistance, like in terms of like models and things like that, then you automatically suck as an artist. You're not a good artist. You're not a real artist. You're not good enough to just fucking conjure shit from your brain. And the more that I realized that that was absolute bullshit, and that many, many, many industry professionals are using tools like this, like Disney artist Trace. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just the reality of it. And it makes me unafraid. So I've learned to effectively just completely ignore the bullshit from other people who don't really know what they're talking about, and just kind of vibe. All right, let me turn. Oh, I need to turn the building back on. I was like, where the fuck is the other building? Okay, we're getting there, though. Almost there. Okay, I need to make this man lay down dead on the ground really quick. This guy is surprisingly large. Whee! I don't want to, like, throw this guy on top of Wukong. Okay, there we go. Better. I need to actually have these guys doing something else in the background. I have to draw the fox or the crab guy again. And I don't want to, but I have to. Makes me sad. I love how a fucking tiger is just walking over his friend's, like, unconscious body. He's like, that's nice. I'm actually going to move both of these demons out of the way. I know what I'm doing. Eee. I just don't want to have any of them on screen, like, effectively at all. Like, I'm good. There we go. Holy shit. Let me see what I'm actually doing here. Okay, sorry that this is so intense, y'all. I promise. Fuck it, actually. I'm just gonna get these two out of here so that way I don't have to... I don't want to deal with them! Okay, there we go. Yeah, thank you for being patient, everyone. I recognize this is not the most exciting thing ever. Why attack Wukong one at a time? This happened so quickly. Like, if you can imagine, this probably was second by second. So we're talking that he downed 3 people in probably 6 seconds or less. Like, they all would have rushed him at relatively the same time, and it was like bing, bang, boom, and then they're just unconscious. So what we're seeing is happening in a very quick period of time. So I think it's less of, like, they all attacked him at the same time, and more so, they unfortunately were very, they got jumped. They would not have anticipated that he would have been that fast. Because this all happens within, like, mere pages of, like, 3 pages of combat. So super, super quick. All right, let let me make sure really quick that everything here is censored so that way we don't look at accidental ween. And Jeff Bezos doesn't come for me. There's a crotch shot here, and I know Jeffrey would be upset. He would be angry. Jeff, we don't want to enrage the Jeffrey, you know? Yeah, and the first shot that I have of them, they're all just kind of rushing him at the same time. And, like, I think that's what makes Wukong so effective and also very terrifying, is that he doesn't really feel outnumbered until, he actually, like, is getting jumped by, like, 50 or more guys. Like, it has to be so many guys. 4 guys is fucking nothing. And then Tiger ends up getting fucking involved, and then that, you know, he ends up also getting his ass handed to him, which is still kind of funny. Alright, let me turn these off. Alright. I'm gonna do bear first. Yeah, because we ended up going from, in several pages, all of them rushed him, and then in 1, 2, 3, effectively 4 pages, he was able to dispatch 3 of them. Yeah, so I would assume that was like 10 to 15 seconds, to be honest. In D&D combat rules, like 1 turn is 6 seconds, give or take. So I don't know if that gives a good estimate on time. This will definitely make way more sense when it's viewed linearly, for sure. I feel like with me working on it like every week or so, and there was also a period where I was like taking a break as well, it makes it feel like it's a lot longer than it is. Oh my god, that's our second bot. They've been getting more voracious lately. But yeah, if you guys have any questions about Court of Snakes or the plot, the characters, I would absolutely love to answer them. You know, like, I always like talking about my shit, and this special edition, it's going to be the first special edition that I've ever released, so I'm very excited to be able to finally get it out into the world. I ended up having to rewrite the first book, so like this is definitely a labor of love. It was a long time in the making, for sure. Okay, I think I probably know how to draw this bear face now from the side, at least enough to be able to pull it off. Oh yeah, totally. I love those RNG style like abilities. I definitely agree, Gabriel. It's really fun. Just like how the tarot cards are freakishly accurate in you know, when I do readings for you guys, like that's how I felt writing the book. Is it was like it was just so there was not really a need for me to change anything, and like without providing like too many spoilers, like there's one point in the book, there's a bunch of corrupt ass politicians involved in this book overall, and that's like the main focus of the story is corrupt fucking politicians. But there's one particular asshat wolf who is just absolutely fucking awful, and he's definitely very symptomatic, or emblematic, I should say, of the corrupt systems that these characters are facing. And it was a super cathartic moment for me to be able to not necessarily, I guess he did die. I mean, this man is awful. This man is like hitting his wife and shit. He's a horrendous human being. And so for Taran to draw like the death card at that time, you know, to like really solidify it, I mean, again, it was all RNG, it was all random, right? So to have that happen, death is a beautiful card because it's not really about you know, the actual physical act of death, right? It's not like, if you guys watch my newest YouTube video, you'll see what I mean. I talk about this card a lot. But it's not really like, it doesn't symbolize true death, but it symbolizes death and rebirth. And so by this guy dying, it makes way for new and more fair systems to come in the future. You know, so it's like, it was like such a powerful card for me to draw at that time. It was crazy. I drew it and I was like, damn. Because it's a transformation card. So the guy ends up, yes, dying, but he also ends up transforming into a caterpillar. You know, it's like, it's not like a true permadeath in that way. He gets to maybe have a better time, you know, make his life mean something better, become something better. Not that he deserves forgiveness necessarily, but it's like, even like the end final scene for the villain, I was like, is he gonna die? You know, like even I at the end of the book didn't know, like, is the main bad guy going to fucking die? And in the end, it ended up being not what I expected. I won't spoil anything because I do think that it is a really powerful thing, and then to have him come, you know, like reappear, have lasting impacts in the second book was really strange. Like I didn't know how that was gonna turn out. So I had a lot of fun with it. I think that this deck was very faithful to me writing this particular piece. The first book is weaker than the second one, in my opinion. Although Lumaris apparently loved the second one, so I'm so blessed that they, you know, were able to read it and enjoy it. I really respect them a lot as an author. They're very cool. All right, so we got Queen of Cups. So whatever you're dealing with is a very emotional thing, which is not a bad thing. And it has to do with, like, either, again, a feminine person that's roughly middle-aged or older, an older woman, or an aspect of yourself that is motherly, potentially. But I think you're dealing with either... It's most likely somebody else that's very stuffy. They're acting way more uptight than usual, which is stressing you out. Do your best to pay no attention to them and take time to rethink matters. Right now, the number one most important thing that you can do is self-care. So we're talking like really watching what you eat. Try your best to, you know, put good fuel into your system. Also, that means like try and get as much sleep as possible. And if you have to kind of go into a cocoon for a little while to do so, that's not a bad thing at all. Other people may be judgmental of it. It's like, you know, why are you avoiding everybody? Like those kinds of thoughts. But like at the end of the day, you know, you need to take some time to recoup and to allow that emotional wound to heal a little bit before you can get back onto the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully you can get a nice break. But other people are about to be weird. They're going to be weird about it. But people tend to be really weird when others take self-care. You know, like I've noticed that people tend to be all up in everybody's business for no reason. It seems like a lot of folks are dealing with interpersonal issues specifically right now. I wonder what's going on astrologically that would cause that. I wonder what the current astrology is. What is the current placement of Cancer? I wonder. Oh, Gemini and Leo. Oh, Venus in Cancer will enter on May 18th. Interesting. But what does it mean? What are we looking at here? Jupiter. Oh, Jupiter in Cancer. That's why. Yeah, interesting. Because I consider Jupiter like a ruling planet. Yeah, home, family, security, like, yeah, interpersonal relationships are going to be a really big issue. Makes sense. I understand. I was like, there's got to be something fucking going on astrologically that's giving everybody fucking issues all at the same time. It's that. It's that. Jupiter's a big-ass planet. He's just giving Wukong a good old sniff check. You know what I'm saying? Give him a little sniff sniff. My brush was too big. Yeah, look at him. He's just smelling the back of Wukong's head. He's just like, I love the smell of fear. He doesn't realize he's about to get the shit kicked out of him also. Like, it's not gonna help him. Oh, come on. Nah, Wukong smells like jasmine. He takes super good care of his hair, I imagine. I think this is all very low effort for him, to be honest. I think that's probably what pisses people off the most, is that it's like they're getting the snot kicked out of them and exerting a bunch of energy, and he's like, well, that was fun. It's like doing hopscotch, you know. He's like, that was nice. Interesting story, bro. And then just kind of moves on with his life. There are going to be fights in the future that are really bad, but right now we're kind of establishing truly the scope of his abilities and how when shit does hit the fan for him, it's going to be really bad. Because he handles all of these conflicts with like such a level of nostalgia, or not nostalgia, wow, holy shit, nonchalance. That's like a non. He's very unimpacted by it. That's what I'm looking for. Sometimes my brain looks for the wrong English word, to be honest. But he's very nonchalant about the entire thing, and overall, that makes like fights where he does get the shit handed to him and he does lose really, really bad. Power ramping in this comic is important. Especially when you have a Mary Sue-ass character like Wukong, who it's really hard for him to get beaten up. So I'm going to be taking a lot of time to establish his power threshold, so that way when bad shit does happen, it's as impactful as it possibly can be. I find that I have a lot of problems with that with certain, like, shonen anime. Like Dragon Ball, for example, does this a lot, but particularly Dragon Ball Z, where the power ramping gets so out of fucking control that it's like, how are you guys even fucking, like, fighting each other? Because you're both so powerful that it doesn't matter. Like, why do we care about the fight? Because no matter what happens, you guys are just gonna, like, blow up the sun or some shit? It's over 9,000! That's all I have to say. So yeah, I do tend to have issues with that. So we're gonna try and avoid that problem as much as humanly possible in this comic, but we'll see. A lot of the more impactful fights happen when Wukong's not around, to be honest. It's like Leon and Sandy doing shit, or Leon and Bo, that's what I mean. Doing shit, and Wukong is not even really involved. Yo, this is insane. Really like some drapey ass hair. He's like, get off me, you smell like poop. You smell like stinky doo-doo. Stinky doo-doo poop. You smell like garlic and BO. Oh, stinky. Yep, exactly. Truly a stanky man. I don't know what this guy does in his spare time, but I'm sure that the bear hat is indeed sweaty, old, and stinky. He's like, bro, get off me. You're unnecessarily heavy, dude. Why are you built like a baked potato? Like a baked bean. You're heavy and annoying. He's like, I eat my protein, yells and starts wrestling. You want to wrestle? It's like, no, I don't. Absolutely not. That is the opposite of what I wanted to do. No wrestling for me, thank you. Guys, like, we could get greased up. We could go roll around on the ground. Kong's like, no, this is weird. I don't need your greasy ass anywhere near me. This is getting awkward. He's like, are you afraid of a little body contact? He's like, no. You're just really close. Come on over here and give me a kiss. No! I'm alright. Can you tell that I've completely lost it? That was not correct. I don't know why the fuck I was thinking that that was the right angle for that line. That's crazy. That's silly. That is not right. Incorrecto. Oh my lord. Yeah, if I didn't have these models, I would be in hell, I think, actually. Like, thinking about this particular sequence, I would not be in a happy place. Oh yeah, I'm waiting. Like, if this thing ever takes off, like, I recognize the amount of people that look at this on the daily is probably about, you know, like 8 people, give or take. Like, that consistently read it. But I know for a fact, if it ever popped off, I would be in a very interesting place. There would be so much skanky fan art. That's all I gotta say. I'm not gonna be mad about it. I understand why people would do that. Did I accidentally make a massive thirst trap? Maybe. I understand. I know full well what I've walked into. The thirsty Wukong art is real. And I will never be able to escape it. Is that the best shoe I've ever drawn? No. Is it going to be all black so it doesn't matter? Yes. Stinky butthole? Yeah, we've got a guy who knocked another dude to the ground, and this guy's definitely given his head a sniff check. Don't ask Shibito. I know what I've done. I've created a thirst trap. How you doing? Oh, whoops. Do it, Carrix, do it. I dare you. I dare you. I would actually be so thrilled. Like, legitimately, I'm always, like, so tickled when anybody does fan art of my stuff. Like, Heyu was super nice over the holidays and organized a massive, like, fan art drive for, like, Christmas for me. That was crazy. It was one of the coolest things I think I've ever, like, one of best gifts I've ever received. A lot of people did. Amazing, amazing art. So I have it all taped up above my desk. I get to look at all the pretty pieces every day. Yes, Shibito. I feel like every human has been in that situation at least once, and you're like, is that me? And then you realize it's somebody next to you, and you're like, bruh. It's like, why do you smell like a swamp? What are you doing in my swamp? It's scary. It's terrifying. Literally so scary. I'm gonna be very careful about what actually goes over this guy. I'm like looking at all of the shit here to make sure. I gotta do some like ground explosions so that he can punch next to the guy's head. Punch! Alright. So now this is where this gets hard. Looks less like he's giving the guy a sniff check now. Do it, Carrix. Do it. Do it. I legit am honored. Like, if people enjoy my work enough to, like, you know, really want to put some time into making art, like, that is the kindest. I feel like I'm gonna take like a Vivzy approach to it. It's like if people are gonna make ships of stuff, I'm not really gonna care. You know, it's not something that's gonna bother me. As long as people don't make creepy ships, I'm good. People can do whatever the hell they want. I know that there's gonna be a bunch of Wukong, like people would be shipping Wukong and Leon like hard. I think so hard. I sniffed to my full potential. You're just like, it's full nostrils flared. This demon's like, your hair smells like jasmine and nice rice shampoo. He's like, yes, get off me. You're nasty. You're being gross. You're being gross and weird. Not Leon Kennedy. I'm Leon Kennedy. Oh my god, I gotta send you Marcus the VR chat worm. They just did a Resident Evil one. Marcus was Leon Kennedy, and it was the funniest shit I've ever seen. Now we got this river demon. His name's Leon. He'll be in the comic eventually. Sha Wu Jing, but it'll be a minute. For now, we got to deal with Bo and his nonsense. Oh my god, guys, I did it. All right. Let me actually reduce the opacity on this so that I can see. Because I really have to make sure that I don't cross over anything weird. Gotta make some like rock explosions, some asphalt explosions, some asplosions. I'm sorry. Yeah, Bo's a piece of work. It's okay, Carrix. He gets better. He gets better, but it is really frustrating. He's corrupt as shit. It takes him a long time though to not have that problem anymore. Bo has some of my favorite character growth, I think, in the entire comic, to be honest. He puts in a lot of work. I think he kind of gets the short end of the stick in the, like, Journey to the West book, so I really wanted to give him some love here. Let's get some rock explosions. Rock explosion! Yeah, but I also, this is a very important shot, actually, because this also gives some concept of, like, demon ability as well. Like, I need to be able to show, like... Now, these guys are violent. And actually, let me, very quickly, before I do anything crazy... I'm gonna throw this together as well. Oh my god, Adtown. Trapped in Adtown! There we go. That way I can make sure I don't do anything silly. It's about time for me to be done with stream. As much as I want to continue working on this page, actually, now that I have a good foundation for it, it's about that time. I gotta go do real people job shit, and I don't want to do it. I'm done grading, though. At least I'm out of grading hell. Welcome back from Adtown. Nice. Okay, but this panel's fire, though. And then we have a breakaway panel here. So this is what we'll get back to next time. So we did, though, finish... I can close this. We did finish this page. Oh, yeah, Chips, it's bad. That and Liberty University, Chips, I can't fucking escape it. They're like, would you like to be in your own personal hell? And I'm like, bro, no. What in the hell makes you think that I would want this? You're like, I don't even qualify for the army. What the fuck? All right. Well, yes. So this is done. At least it's doing its due. Next week we'll come back and we'll do the rest of this page. And yeah, just gotta keep on keeping on. So to sum up again, last time I do this, I promise. If you do want to help me get to 50 followers on my Court of Snakes page, please do. I would really appreciate it. It's completely free to sign up. And I'm trying to get to 50 so that way the backer kit people, that the collab that I'm a part of, stop yelling at me. And it would be great. So you can sign up, read more about the book here, and why the project is so important. Particularly right now, if you're pissed off at the U.S. government, this is a good book to read. I'm really happy with it, and the special edition itself is like, I'm very proud of it. It's one of the coolest things I've ever fucking made. I'm stoked. Also, again, if you're looking for a free book and you want to read a middle grade, it's a very quick read, and help me get to 25 reviews on Amazon, you can do so here. Otherwise, though, that's pretty much it. That's all there is to it. So I'm going to go ahead and bounce. And, yeah, I hope everybody has a good rest of your weekend. I'll be back on Monday with more commissions again, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.